Society has a tendency to view men who are single as unfulfilled or lonely or incapable of having a full, meaningful life. And nothing could be further from the truth. In a society that has promoted women to the point where it's okay for them to say things like, all men should die, and men are useless, and we don't need men anymore, and these kinds of bigoted statements without holding them accountable. If I said something like that about any ethnic group, if I said that about women or transgenders or Jews or Catholics or Muslims, I would be called out as a bigot, as a racist, as a misogynist. But women can get away with this shit like they're immune to society's standards. They can say evil, mean things about men without being held accountable. And so it's very clear from that perspective and from the perspective of family court that women are getting most favored person treatment in the world right now. And in a marketplace between men and women, where it's very important that the dynamics at least have some kind of rules that everyone can play by and agree to, and women live outside of those rules, well, why would men want to enter into any kind of a long-term relationship with them? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense at all.
He's going into more detail about the bigotry. I think he mentioned something that all men just don't even need to exist. When he said women, I know we've got to generalise because we haven't got infinite time. He's not talking about women as in 100%. He's talking about a particular segment which he's never going to be interested in. And guess what? He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. And is there a broader, just go beyond that just quickly for a second, is there a broader problem in that if they've got this acceptance or this allowance for this negative toxicity, this kind of feminine toxicity to continue and permeate, where we can't say it as men, and they can say it, and it becomes normalized. And because it's more normalized, it becomes more common. The percentage of women I can actually talk to in a positive sense, you have these positive relationships with, is getting smaller and smaller, and almost seems impossible, especially if you're in a rural area where it's always going to be a numbers game. But to be honest, it's more problematic for them. That's the irony of the situation. It's more problematic for ladies because they're against the body clock. So all this time they're taking being, I'm not talking about everybody again from what I just said a minute ago before anybody puts it in the comments. The time taken being toxic is just taking up those valuable days, months, years from a big enough portion of ladies that they're never going to get back. And whilst they're kind of excluding themselves from the dating market, because surely not any man's going to be crazy to take that on board. Why would any man take toxicity on board? They may well end up finding themselves too close to the body clock in order to meet somebody, or past the body clock, and their opportunities sadly are going to be from being difficult to being incredibly more difficult. So yeah, and men, his age, my age, much older, especially if we've got something about us in terms of success in various ways and confidence and assurity and social skills, and we will be fine until more or less the day that we leave this earth.